The closing years of life are like the end of a masquerade party when the masks are dropped. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. In our monogamous part of the world, to marry means to have one's rights and double one's duties. Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of thing. Wicked thoughts and worthless efforts gradually set their mark on the face, especially the eyes. Happiness consists in frequent repetition of pleasure. It is only at the first encounter that a face makes its full impression on us. The word of man is the most durable of all material. Health is not everything, but without health, everything is nothing. What people commonly call fate is mostly their own stupidity. Forgive and forget means to throw out the window is made of precious experiences. It's the niceties that make the difference. Fate gives us the hand, and we play the cards. There is not much to be got anywhere in the world. It is filled with misery and pain. Revoke a wrong view requires more character than to defend it. To be alone is the fate of all great minds, a fate deplored at times, but still always chosen as the less grievous of two evils. We seldom think of what we have, but always of what we lack. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. To feel envy is human, to savor malicious joy is devilish. There is no doubt that life is given us, not to be enjoyed, but to be overcome, to be got over. The world is not an inferior product, and animals are not a fabrication for our use. No one writes anything worth writing, unless he writes entirely for the sake of his subject. Any foolish boy can stamp on a beetle, but all the professors in the world cannot make a beetle. Men are by nature merely indifferent to one another, but women are by nature enemies. You may take it as a general rule that you will not lose a friend by refusing him a loan, but that you are very likely to do so by granting it. Almost all of our sorrows spring out of our relations with other people. Men are the devils of the earth, and the animals are the tormented souls. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. No one can get out of their individuality. Life is a constant process of dying. With people of only moderate ability, modesty is mere honesty, but with those who possess great talent, it is hypocrisy. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. Natural intellect can replace almost any degree of education, but no education can replace natural intellect. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. Books are a uniquely portable magic. We make up horrors to help us cope with the real ones. If you don't control your temper will control you. Monsters are real, and ghosts are real too. They live inside us, and sometimes they win. We lie best when we lie to ourselves. There came a time when you realized that moving on was pointless. That you took yourself with you wherever you went. Good books don't give up all their secrets at once. Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. Fiction is the truth inside the lie. Time takes it all, whether you want it to or not. The road to hell is paved with adverbs. Only enemies speak the truth. Friends and lovers lie endlessly, caught in the web of duty. Sometimes human places create inhuman monsters. The scariest moment is always just before you start. Nobody likes a clown at midnight. If you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all others: read a lot and write a lot. Schizoid behavior is a pretty common thing in children. It's accepted, because all we adults have this unspoken agreement that children are lunatics. I think that we're all mentally ill. Those of us outside the asylums only hide it a little better, and maybe not all that much better after all. There's no harm in hoping for the best as long as you're prepared for the worst. If you liked being a teenager, there's something really wrong with you. Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. A short story is a different thing altogether. A short story is like a quick kiss in the dark from a stranger. A tragedy is a tragedy, and at the bottom, all tragedies are stupid. Sometimes being a bitch is all a woman's got to hold on to. It was the possibility of darkness that made the day seem so bright. Hearts can break. Yes, hearts can break. Sometimes I think it would be better if we died when they did, but we don't. We never know which lives we influence, or when, or why. Humor is almost always anger with its makeup on. Description begins in the writer's imagination, but should finish in the reader's. The trust of the innocent is the liar's most useful tool. A little talent is a good thing to have if you want to be a writer. But the only real requirement is the ability to remember every scar. Give me just enough information so that I can lie convincingly. The mind can calculate, but the spirit yearns, and the heart knows what the heart knows. People who try hard to do the right thing always seem mad. I'm rightly tired of the pain I hear and feel. I'm tired of buying on the road, lonely as a robin in the rain. Faith and knowledge are related as the two scales of a balance. When the one goes up, the other goes down. No rose without a thorn, but many a thorn without a rose. In the absence of huge suffering, the smallest inconveniences torture us. If a man does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Nine-tenths of our happiness depends on our health alone. It is a clear gain to sacrifice pleasure in order to avoid pain. Hatred comes from the heart, contempt from the head, and neither feeling is quite within our control. The difficulty is to try and teach the multitude that something can be true and untrue at the same time. We are not just responsible for what we do, but also for what we accept without any contradiction. Satisfaction consists in freedom from pain, which is the positive element of life. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. Money is human happiness in the abstract. A pessimist is an optimist in full possession of the facts. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health for any other kind of happiness. To overcome difficulties is to experience the full delight of existence. Religion is the masterpiece of the art of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. There is something in us that is wiser than our head. The eternal being which, as it lives in us, also lives in every animal. The animal is in essence absolutely the same thing that we are. Each day is a little life. Every waking and rising a little birth, every fresh morning a little youth, every going to rest and sleep a little death. Anyone who has messed with a stupid and vicious wife will soon realize that he made a big mistake. The bad thing about all religions is that, instead of being able to confess their allegorical nature, they have to conceal it. The high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. A man cannot serve two masters, so it is either reason or the scriptures. To feel envy is human, to savor schadenfreude is devilish. To call the world God is not to explain it, it is only to enrich our language with a superfluous synonym. After your death you will be what you were before your birth. Writing is not life, but I think that sometimes it can be a way back to life. It's strange how pain marks our faces and makes us look like family. Life isn't a support system for art. It's the other way around. Fear can hold you prisoner. Hope can set you free. Fault always lies in the same place, with him weak enough to lay blame. No one ever does live happily ever after, but we leave the children to find that out for themselves. When it comes to the past, everyone writes fiction. Friends don't spy. True friendship is about privacy, too. Words create sentences. Sentences create paragraphs. Sometimes paragraphs quicken and begin to breathe. God is cruel. Sometimes he makes you live. I tend to scare myself. Time's the thief of memory. It is the tale, not he who tells it. Sometimes there is absolutely no difference at all between salvation and damnation. The only thing women want from men is caring. Control the things you can control, maggot. Let everything else take a flying fuck at you, and if you must go down with your guns blazing. You cannot hope to sweep someone else away by the force of your writing until it has been done to you. You want to remember that while you're judging the book is also judging you. Perfect paranoia is perfect awareness. Your job isn't to find these ideas but to recognize them when they show up. To write is human, to edit is divine. The only mortal sin is giving up. If there is love, smallpox scars are as pretty as dimples. I'll love your face no matter what it looks like, because it's yours. Quiet people have the loudest minds. Do it for joy and you can do it forever. If I have to spend time in purgatory before going to one place or the other, I guess I'll be alright as long as there's a lending library. A person can't change all at once. A man who can't bear to share his habits is a man who needs to quit them. A coward judges all he sees by what he is. What can be done when you're 11 can often never be done again.